Hello, everyone. We're back with Ken Dombrowski, executive life coach and master hypnotist. And today, I think we should talk about motivation. Everyone says that motivation's necessary. It's the thing you need to get things done and be the best version of yourself. Kind of, why is that a lie? Why don't you need it?
Well, yeah, I've been saying this for years. Motivation is garbage. Motivation is so temporary. It's basically just like getting hyped up in the moment. If you need to accomplish something in the next few minutes, then motivation can help a little bit. You're like, oh yeah, I can do this. I'm gonna do this. Get ramped up, and give yourself the reasons why, and then go accomplish something again that's only very small, superficial in the next few minutes. But for it to be part of your overall life, looking at goal setting and plan creation to accomplish those goals, motivation has nothing to do. Actually, motivation becomes, I don't want to even say nothing. It becomes a negative.
Like detrimental.
Exactly, because now people are going to be counting on it. And so when motivation ramps up, and then it crashes, you crash. And a person can easily go into a bit of a depression, even get some fears and then some anxieties every time motivation, going towards goals, ultimately just falls apart. So what do we want to do instead of motivation? Good question. Glad you asked that. Motivation can easily be replaced with, I like to use the word understanding. Understanding what does it take to get something done, whatever that might be. So now if you wanted to become a doctor, let's say, for example, do you need motivation to get through 4 years of college, 4 years of medical school, 2 years as an intern before you finally become a full-fledged doctor making decent money? That's 10 years. No, motivation crapped out long time ago. However, if you have an understanding that this is what it takes, have to go through each and every one of these million steps, motivation is not even part of the conversation anymore. Motivation becomes something that it's just lost. It just does not apply. So let go of motivation and you'll probably get a lot further in your life.
I think motivation is something, it literally is a lie people tell themselves to take little wins. But going to the gym once a month or once a year because you were motivated that day didn't make you better for the rest of the year, didn't make you better that month, didn't help your health. You know what I mean? So motivation is just unbelievably fleeting. You need long-term priorities, commitment, drive to actually make that stuff happen. Drive is something different. Motivation is just what you tell yourself to get off the couch to go do a house chore. It's not going to keep you in the gym 4 times a week for the entire year. It's not going to make you better at your job. It's not going to make you a better parent, a better boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, friend. It's just something that you tell yourself to get up in 1 second. And I just feel like it's not something that has ever long-term made someone better that comes from something else. Because me, before working for my dad, one of the things that I was always told by my employers is I could be labeled as motivated because I always work to the best of my ability. I always do exactly what's asked of me and a little more because I can understand and see what's supposed to come next. I can problem solve. That's just something that I was raised to have. And so people would label it as motivation, and it's me just understanding what's expected of me and choosing to do it. There was no motivation involved. This is just what I give when I show up on a day-to-day basis. So I think that's what it is. If you need motivation to do something, there's a bigger problem that needs to be looked at.
Really great way to put that. And as you're saying that, I'm thinking about, sadly, I've seen way too many times in recent years where children are being motivated to simply show up to school, motivated to turn in their homework and try to get good grades. And they were being motivated with things like gifts, money, being rewarded in some way. Well, when I was in school, you got rewarded simply by getting a good grade. That was reward enough. But that's been watered down so much that doesn't mean anything. So they're actually trying to motivate kids with all the wrong stuff. So yeah, you can motivate a kid to do good on this particular project right now, but the rest of their school year might be awful. Mm-hmm. Well, but I did that one thing. So now you know what happened? That kid got rewarded because they were motivated with a reward for that one task, and that's going to carry them now through the rest of the year, mentally and emotionally. I don't have to do anything else because I already accomplished that one great thing.
Yeah, I think that's the problem with being heavily celebrated for minute tasks. Mm-hmm. It's just not something that we should be conditioning a child or a teenager, an adult to expect. You should not understand that doing the bare minimum once is okay. The same thing goes, like the person that's underperforming at work, they shouldn't get away with it because they did something right once this month. There needs to be a certain level of accountability across the board that's just expected. I didn't receive an allowance as a child because I needed to understand that this is something you simply just do. You get up, you clean your room, you do your laundry, whatever it was. You guys didn't believe in allowances. I didn't get rewarded because I was getting A's, and I got A's all the time. It was just an understanding that this is the level that you shall meet, so meet it. But when you're being told as a kid you don't have to meet any level as long as you do something right once, you're just destroying their ability to be a contributing member of society. I understand it's really hard to be a first-time parent. It's really hard to figure out these different grooves. So it's never us blaming the parent for following a trend or something else like that. But you can't let a child believe that they only have to be motivated once a month, one day a year, once a week, in order to be considered great or amazing or capable of doing whatever they want to do.
Well, then let's talk about the other side of motivation. Where does motivation actually work is in the negative. Mm-hmm. So, again, let's go back to when you were a child. When you were a little girl, you were motivated to not get in trouble, to not, get yelled at or, talking to or I'm going to admit it right here. I've spanked my kids. Very simple. So that was a great motivation, was to not get in trouble and not have that problem. So in the negative, motivation works. But then what happened is all these life coaches and all this stuff, they tried turning motivation into this inspirational thing, and where it's going to be uplifting. And it absolutely does not work that way. That type of motivation is in alignment with what you were just saying. That's rewarding in advance for something that you should already be doing. Mm-hmm. So motivation in that way doesn't work. To stay, hey, you know what? I drive a lot, have a great truck. I love my truck. It's fast. But you know what? I'm motivated to drive the speed limit because I don't want a speeding ticket. That's my motivation, is to avoid a speeding ticket. Mm-hmm. My motivation of driving safe is not getting in an accident. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's a negative. I'm not motivated to drive faster or drive more I'm motivated to avoid. Oh, okay. So to avoid something is really the best type of motivation you can possibly get, to avoid a negative. Can you think of anything in your generation that would be worth avoiding through motivation?
Honestly, I think you can apply it to anything you feel like applying it to. It can go to relationships, like you're motivated to stay out of the wrong kind of relationship. But, then the waters get a little murky because people are like convincing themselves they should be single forever because everybody sucks. Like there's certain places where I think it plays more and it doesn't play more, but you should be motivated to be with someone that makes you better, not worse. You should be motivated to be in a relationship where you don't feel like you're being abused in any sense of the word. Like you should be motivated to be thoughtful and care for the people around you so they do the same back for you. There's things like that I can think of. But to me, again, I think we lose the word motivation. It should be something like drive, something that feels long-term and really purposeful. Like you don't say, I need to muster up the drive to get off the couch today. You say, no, I need to muster up the motivation. So I feel like it's just a word that doesn't hold as much like oomph as it did or it should.
Mm-hmm. So someone comes in and they say, oh, I just really need I need motivation to do the things I want to do in my life. Well, probably not. What you really need to do is find out what's holding you back. Mm-hmm. See, motivation is not going to outdo, those core values of your deep subconscious, spiritual person, your identity of who you are. All the motivation in the world, I can put a gun to your head. Does that mean you're going to become a multi-million-dollar entrepreneur right now? No, right. You can't do it. Put a gun to your head and tell you to shit out a brick of gold. Are you going to be able to? No. So it doesn't work that way. However, if we are looking at this from a standpoint of, again, subconscious, What's in your subconscious is actually holding you back from accomplishing your dreams. Usually going to be fear related. It's going to, and uncertainty and unfamiliar and uncomfortable. Those are the roadblocks. And those have nothing to do with motivation.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's like something people tie it a lot to going to the gym. If you're not making it to the gym, there's probably a larger reason as to why. Maybe you don't actually have that much of a problem with the way you look, or if you have a really big problem with the way you look and you're still not going to the gym, there's something else going on up here that's relating to that. That's not you just being lazy. There's something you need to confront. So like motivation isn't going to cut it when there's so many deeper feelings that need to be explored, themes, experiences, traumas, in order to get you to the result you want. That's why we talk all day long about bad habits and negative coping mechanisms, because those are in the way of quote unquote motivation.
Yeah, all that. It's all in the way. So we want to have that understanding. And of course, we have the 4-step process in our office to emotional and spiritual well-being. Step number 1, understanding. We need to simply gain some kind of understanding about our circumstance in a particular situation. So once we start to get that understanding you're never going to fully understand, and that's got to be okay. So when you understand something, then it leads to step number 2, which is acceptance. Accepting it for what it is. I have blockages. I understand that I'm not getting what I want in life. I feel held back. Step number 2 is accepting those shortcomings, accepting the fact that I'm a human being with my own flaws and defects, and that I have blockages that need to be overcome, and start working through them. You can't work through them, by the way, till you accept them. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I've seen other life coaching and say that that would be negative, is to to admit and care for and nurture your negatives. No, it's exactly what has to be done to get them out of the way. So then you accept them first, then you move on. And that brings us to step number 3, which is forgiveness. You can forgive yourself for not doing this sooner, forgive yourself for shortcomings, forgive whatever you need to forgive in the situation. Just forgive. And that means to allow it to be okay. Doesn't mean you accept, doesn't mean you like it, doesn't mean you approve of it, but it means you accept it. And that brings us to step number 4, which is gratitude. Being truly grateful for what you do have. Being grateful for the lessons learned of those negative things in life, and what those blockages were trying to tell you. They're just trying to protect you. So be grateful anytime something's trying to protect you.
And mind you, this doesn't have to just be internal for your own misgivings that are your own personal doing, fault, whatever you want to say. This applies to your relationships with other people. You don't always have to be forgiving yourself. You can be forgiving someone else. You can accept and be grateful that you had an experience with someone else. It's just at the end of the day, it's also okay to accept that motivation is a lie. Understand motivation is a lie, and forgive yourself for trying to hold on to something like motivation, or forgive someone for teaching you that that's what you should be striving for, and then be grateful you get to move on from it.
Mm-hmm. All good. Right on.
Yeah, so moral of the story, motivation is a lie. You don't need it to change your life. We just got to get through those 4 steps, and you should be good to go.
Right on. There you go.
Thank you for that information and for the reminder of the 4 steps, because that's very necessary, I think.
Thank you. I'm happy to.
If you need help working through quote unquote motivation, feel free to give us a call, visit our website, and get into our office today. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.